QuickBooks Enterprise. That may sound unusual for some of you. Some of you may be watching this video to try and find a replacement for your QuickBooks Enterprise. But the reality is that a lot of startups, a lot of smaller organizations use QuickBooks. And the reason for that is it's become kind of a de facto accounting and financial software package for small and mid-sized companies. What's also further increased the adoption of QuickBooks has been the add-ons and some of the third-party systems that extend the functionality and capabilities of QuickBooks. For example, there's a product out there called Fishbowl. Inventory management ties into QuickBooks and allows companies to add some more advanced inventory management capabilities to their QuickBooks Enterprise capabilities. Now, even though QuickBooks is widely used by small and mid-market companies, and we've seen the product scale up to, I believe, 200 million in revenue is the largest client that we've seen use QuickBooks, we find that many organizations will at some point outgrow QuickBooks. And so if you're an extremely high growth organization, or you have ambitious plans for growth, or if you've been established for a while and you're looking for longer term growth, you may want to consider other options in the top 10, because we spend a lot more time helping clients replace QuickBooks than we do helping them to upgrade or to improve the capabilities they have with QuickBooks. Now, with all that in mind, that's enough to land QuickBooks Enterprise at number 7 on our list. Odoo software. It's another product that you may or may not have heard of, and it used to be called Open ERP. It's one of the leading, if not the leading, open source ERP systems, and in fact the only open source ERP system to make our top 10 list. And it's highly adopted by small and mid-market companies across the world. Very easy to use, very straightforward system, has very straightforward pricing, which a lot of small and mid-market companies appreciate. It also allows you to do a lot with it. There's a lot of flexibility in Odoo in terms of integration and adding applications and working your way and growing your way into the full capabilities of the software. A lot of the other systems in our top 10 list require you to implement a broad cross-section of functionality in order for the whole thing to work, whereas Odoo is built more modular to where you can implement module by module as your company grows and expands. Now, the downside of Odoo is that it requires a certain amount of focus and attention. It's an open source system, which is good news. That provides a lot of flexibility, but it requires very much of a hands-on implementation approach to figuring out how you want this all to work for your organization. There's a little bit more legwork from the, call it the end user perspective or the functional implementation perspective. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you're an organization that's growing very quickly and you don't have a lot of IT staff and you don't have a lot of bandwidth to be messing around with software, trying to figure out how to implement it and manage it day to day, that can be a little bit much for some organizations. And the other part of it is that it doesn't have as much predefined business processes and workflows as you might find with some of the other vendors in the top 10 list. So those are some things to think about, or some trade-offs that come along with it. But given the fact that so many organizations use it and it is flexible, easy to use, focused on the small to mid-market, that's enough to land Odoo at number 3 on our list.